Okay, now that we understand how loops work, well, while loop, let's gonna go back to the previous example. In this example, we wanna add two numbers, 3, 4, and then 5 numbers, right? And this is the algorithm to add 5 numbers, right? And display the addition of the 5 number is whatever we have in the variable sum. Nothing new, but now that you know how the while loop works, let's gonna adjust and identify the repetition. First of all, this program add 5 numbers. Oh, okay, 5 numbers. So 5 numbers. Okay, instead of to repeat and repeat and repeat, enter a number, let's gonna create the while loop. Remember, as I told you that every time that you use a while loop, you need a variable count that we are going to initialize to 0, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the recipe that I told you in the previous video. While count less than, how many times we want to run this loop? 5 times, okay? 5. Now what is next? Next is the repetition, the message that we want to repeat, right? And receive the data. We want to repeat, enter a number. So we don't need the other messages there. Boom, only one variable. Okay, and now what's next? Okay, next, after receiving the number, what is that? There is a formula in repetition that we're gonna use from now until the end of the semester or always in our life when we're gonna code. And the formula is like this. Every time that you wanna add, you watch my video, total equal total plus something, right? Or sum equals sum plus. If you watch my previous video, you're gonna know immediately what do you have to add. This is the formula that we're gonna use to add, to accumulate totals in a while loop, in a loop. So how does this work? It's on my video, right? So watch the video, okay? Just I'm gonna mention really quick. So the initial value that we had for sum, one tip, initialize sum to 0 at the beginning, okay? So 0, the first time that we're gonna get into the loop, count is 0, 0 less than 5, yes. We're gonna request a number. We receive the number and store the number in N1. Okay, good. Now what happened? We're gonna accumulate this number because we're gonna add the numbers. So sum is 0, 0 plus N1, whatever the user enter here. So 0 plus, for example, the user enter 3. Okay, 0 plus 3 is going to be 3. So the new value of sum is going to be 3. Then end of the while loop. And then what happens? Remember the recipe? You need to use something like this. Count equal count plus 1. We're incrementing count because remember, this is the loop control variable that is going to help us to keep the number of repetition, the number of times that we are getting into the loop. Okay, now that that is clear, you know count, you know you need the formula sum equals sum plus non-1, you need count, increment by 1. Now the loop is completed. So we're gonna repeat this loop how many times? 5. I already explained you what is the recipe for that, right? So you're gonna repeat 3, you want to add 3 numbers? Yes, 3. In this case, we're going to add 5 numbers. So enter a number, you receive the number. Okay, so we have, again, quick recap. We have count, right? I control the number of repetition. At the beginning, count is 0. We're gonna get into the loop, 0 less than 5, true. We're gonna receive a number. Suppose the user enters 3, none, 1 is 3, and now 0, because at the beginning sum is 0, we initialize sum to 0. 0 plus 3, now sum is gonna be 3. And now count was 0 plus 1, 1. Count now is 1, end of the while loop. Now, new value of count, 1. 1 is less than 5? Yes, we're going to get into the loop. Now we are going to prompt, enter a number. The user provide, for example, 6. Okay, now 1 now is 6. So sum, that was 3, plus 6 is 9. The new value of sum is 9. And then we're gonna increment count. Count, the previous value was 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So count now is 2. And you see, we're gonna continue until count is gonna be 5. When count is 5 is less than 5, false, and we're gonna continue with our program. Okay, continue with our program is mean that we are not going to continue with the indentation, right? Indentation is going to tell Python that all these statements belong to the while loop. Now the indentation now is over. See that? So the formula is already here. So we don't need this formula now because sum is computed that. And then the addition of the 5 number, oh, let's go and improve that. So the addition of the 5 number, but what happens if we type 50? Or we're hard coding the message here, the addition of the 5 numbers. So we don't want to hard code that because we have the number of repetition here inside a variable count. So instead of 5, what do we have to do? Is type what here? Count, because count is keeping the track of the repetition. So the addition of the 5, 10, because remember, when we finish the loop, assume that we run just 2 times. Let's gonna track that. At the beginning, count is 0. 0 less than 2, perfect, true. We're gonna get into the loop. The user enter a number. Assume that the user enter, for example, number 2. Then at the beginning, what is the value of sum? 0. 0 plus 2, 2. So sum now is 2, right? Count, what is the initial value of count? 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So count now is going to be 1. End of the while loop, we're going to evaluate count again. What is the value of count? 1. 1 is less than 2, true. Now you prompt, enter a number. Suppose that the user now enter the number 7. Okay? So what is the previous value of sum? Remember 2. 2 plus what is the new value of than 1? 7. So 2 plus 7, now it's going to be 2 plus 7, 9. So sum now is 9. And now, what happened with count? The previous value of count was 1. 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. So count now is 2. End of the while loop. 2 is less than 2, false. We're going to jump out of the loop. And we're going to print the addition of what is the value of count? 2. The addition of the 2 number is whatever we have in the variable sum. Make sense? Let's gonna test. Enter a number, 3, 5. The addition of the 2 number is 8. So you wanna run that 5 times. Run. Enter a number, 3, 5, 7, 10, 20. Perfect. 20, 30, 37, 40, 45. Perfect. See that? We were able to compute the addition of the number. Now what happens if I ask you A, compute the average. Oh, the average. What do you need to compute the average? Sum. And you need to divide sum by what? The number of numbers, right? Oh, okay. Let's gonna compute that. I'm not gonna compute the average here because if I compute the average inside a while loop, I'm gonna compute the average 5 times or 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times. So I don't wanna waste CPU memory, right? So instead of to compute inside a while loop, at the end of the loop, I can compute the average. Average is equal what? The addition of the number divided by what? Which variable inside a while loop is going to tell us the number of times that are we executed this while loop? Count. Remember? Count. So if we run this while loop 5 times, okay, to compute the average, we need to divide by 5. If we run this while loop 3 times, we need to divide sign by 3. And the variable that is holding that number always is going to be count. Okay? And then print the average is the variable AB. Let's gonna test. Enter the number. E1, E1, 20. E, 21, 22. The sum of the number is, and the average if, and that's correct. Yeah, right? That's correct. Okay. So as you see, we create a loop, right? And inside this loop, we accumulate the addition of the number, and then outside the loop, when the loop is done, that we have in the variable sum the addition of the number, we can divide by count and obtain what's the average of numbers, and we can display that. Simple while loop that help us to optimize our variables. So we don't have to create 5 variables to receive the numbers. Just with one variable, we were able to receive the 5 numbers. Since we need to compute the addition, we don't need additional variables. Just the formula sum equals sum plus num1. And then increment by 1 the variable count to keep the track of the repetition. Compute the average, and that's it. So I hope this video helped you. Thank you.